Hi. In the previous video, we installed IntelliJ. So we've seen how you can install it on Windows, on Linux, and on Mac. In this video, we're going to be using IntelliJ to write our very first Java application. We call it a HelloWorld application, and we will run it and see it execute. Now that we've installed IntelliJ, well done, we can start IntelliJ. So I'll be using my Macintosh operating system, but the beauty about IntelliJ is it's going to create an abstraction layer on top of which anything we do will run on whichever operating system you are using. So essentially, if you follow everything we do on this course, it doesn't matter which operating system you are using because everything will just work fine because we're all using the same IDE. And now let's write our very first Java application. The first program that we're going to write in Java is called the HelloWorld program. From the Wikipedia page, we see that HelloWorld is a very simple piece of code that you basically typically start with when you're learning a new language. You write it and you run it, and it gives you a taste of what the language looks like in terms of its syntax. And in our case, we want to make sure that we're able to write and execute a very simple Java code to be sure that our stack, the IDE, and other tools that are necessary to be present on your system are all working correctly and allowing you to get started with the course, really. So that's what we're going to do right now. All right, to get started, we have IntelliJ open over here, and we're going to select New Project, and in there, we're going to give it a name. So the name I'm going to pick is Hello World. You feel free to pick whichever name you want. I'm going with that name. And for the location, well, it's chosen a location for me, and I'm happy enough with it. So I'm just going to keep it the way it is. I'm not going to create a Git repository. If you don't know what that is, don't bother with it. And the build system. This is how IntelliJ would transform your source code into executable code. I'm going to pick IntelliJ for the build system, and then the JDK, the Java Development Kit. We're going to speak about what the Java Development Kit is and the Java runtime environment is shortly. For me, I do have a JDK that is already installed. If you don't have a JDK that is already installed, you may want to install one. And to do that, you select the option to download a JDK. For the version, you can select whichever version you like. Please no earlier than 17, as this course is targeting Java 17. And for the vendor, well, there are differences in terms of the license, and some are open source, some are not open source, etc. I would just go with the Amazon one. And for the location, well, I'll just leave it on the location that it's picked for me. And I'm going to hit select. What this will do is once you hit create, it will download this JDK for you and set it up. The last option is to add sample code. I'm going to check that, but I'm not going to check the generate code with onboarding tips. And then I'm going to hit create. And it might take some time for you to download the JDK. In my case, the JDK was already downloaded, so it didn't have to download it. Now, to verify that we have the correct JDK downloaded, I'm just going to make this window a little smaller. And then I'm going to select project structure. I can see that the JDK, the SDK Software Development Kit, which is the Java Development Kit in the case of Java, is this one that we've selected to download. So that's all good. I'm going to hit cancel. I'll bring the window back to the previous size. And then we notice that some code was generated for us. But before we start talking about the code itself, let's just have a look around, see what's available here. So on your left-hand side, you've got the project tool window. It will show you all the files that are in your project. So that's our Hello World application. We have a .idea folder. Now that folder, you never have to worry about that. Not as a beginner, not as an expert. You don't have to worry about it. This folder is just for the IDE to track the state of your project. So you shouldn't really worry about it. The dot at the beginning is to indicate that the folder is hidden from the user, which naturally should be because it's not for the user to worry about. The .gitignore file, you don't want to worry about that. That has to do with something called Git, which is a source control system. is outside the scope of our course, and it's not related to Java at all. The HelloWorld.iml is also a file that is generated by the IDE and is maintained and used by the IDE, and you really don't have to worry about it. So we ruled out these files and folders. And so what we want to look at is this source folder. This source folder is where your source code is stored, the source code for this project, the HelloWorld project. So let's expand it and have a look inside. So when you expand the source folder, you're going to see that there is a main. What is this main? One way to find out is if you right click and open in, depending on your operating system. If you're on Mac, the file system browser is called Finder. It will be different on Windows and on Linux, but you will be able to view it in the File Explorer. And within that File Explorer, we immediately see that we have getignore, IDEA, the folder, and HelloWorld.iml, and then the source folder. So if you double click that, you see that there is a main.java, which is a Java file. And if you want to look inside using a normal text editor, you start to notice the advantage of using an IDE. You see all that coloring that is going on here, whereas the text file itself doesn't have any colors. It's plain text. It doesn't have any formatting whatsoever. So essentially, when you're using an IDE, the IDE will recognize certain keywords within your program and then will give them an appropriate color. But not to distract from the point, this is the file that was created on our behalf, which contains the Java code that we're about to execute and see what the result of that execution will be. Now we focus on this area, which is the code editor area. We have our file here. It's in its own tab, and I have the code inside. Now, it doesn't matter what the code means yet. It's just a boilerplate template type thing that we're just going to have to run. And the way we run it is we either press this play button or this play button. And this should tell IntelliJ that, hey, we're interested in executing this program over here. So let's go ahead and do that. Pressing the play button, it's going to build the application. And shortly after, it's going to run it. And you will see it run in this run window here. There you go. And it says, hello world. Congratulations, we've just executed our very first Java application. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it was useful. And in the next video, I'm going to show you what happens behind the scenes when you hit that play button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.